Section 11A Overview. In this module, you will learn and understand how to utilize queries using a previously made query as a starting point, use joined up queries, use green pins to pin queries effectively. Section 11A. Creating queries using a previously made query as a starting point. Previously in the syllabus we wrote a query to find the subjects that are yet to be assigned a tutor. This was called 00.08 All Subjects Without a Tutor. In this section we are going to build on this by creating a query that starts with the results of 00.08. This holds great value as it allows for the first set of results to be refined further without altering the original query. It also gives you the option to display the original output whilst displaying the refined results simultaneously. This will be demonstrated in this following section. To start, we will create a new view where we can view the unassigned subjects with the option to filter them further, as well as fill out their fields as desired. Create a new view and title it Subject Assigner. Open the view. Create an info panel which shows the information yielded from query 00.08 All Subjects Without a Tutor. The info panel will then display all the subjects that are yet to be assigned a tutor. Next, we are going to add a second info panel, which will be used to filter the results further, configured much the same as the refined tutor search view completed earlier in the course. Create a new query titled 00.14 All Subjects Without a Tutor Filtered. The main difference between this query and the refined tutor search query is the starting point. Open the query and select from the drop-down menu found below the starting point 00.08 All Subjects Without a Tutor as your query. Next, we need to apply the constraints that will allow for the results of the previous query to be filtered further. Navigate to Where, Pick List, and then select Available as Evening Course in the Choose Field drop-down box. Following this, click the rightmost down-pointing arrow. This will give the option to insert a variable. Give said variable the name Eve ? For the second layer, follow the same steps, but this time select Qualification in the Choose Field drop-down box, calling the variable Quali ? For the last layer, we go to Where Number Field, Minimum Participant Number. Select less or equal to and title the variable Min Participants. Now that the query has been created, navigate back to the Subject Assigner view. We can add a second info panel as well as two drop-down tick box lists and a text editor box to view the results of the query. Now the two tick box lists and the text editor are in the right place and selected to the right information, we need to attach the orange pins to the corresponding features. In order to edit the fields of each subject, we must create a matrix which we can edit and save. Set up a matrix with columns for each of the fields within the subject theme. The matrix will need to be set up to start from a variable where it is pinned to the Subject Without a Tutor Filtered info panel. This will make sure that the matrix displays the same output as the info panel. Click Save and navigate back to the Subject Assigner info panel. Add a matrix panel, select the appropriate matrix, flip the matrix panel, and pin the orange pin to the All Subjects Without a Tutor Filtered info panel. Select OK, and see an example in the course notes on how it should look. As we need to occupy the fields of the subjects in question, the matrix must be editable. To make this so, select the matrix and go to the Web tab at the top of the page and click Allow Editing. The final step is to configure a means of saving the changes we make to the different subject elements. Add a button to the bottom of the page and set it up to save and follow by refreshing the page. In order to test that everything is set up correctly, preview the page in an internet browser. This will mimic how the view will appear in the customer end of the solution. To do so, click the Preview Page button under the Web tab and an internet window will open. This is your chance to ensure that the view is in working order. Fill out some of the subject fields and change the filters before saving to check that the correct information is displayed and the button works accordingly. You can verify the changes by looking inside an element and checking that the information is still there. Section 11b, Joined Queries. Joined queries are a great way of solving problems with two constraints, where elements that satisfy either both or one of them exclusively, as well as other options. To create an example of how they may be used, think as if we have been asked to select the location for a conference with a capacity of 15 people. It has also been said that there are a few people that have a disability showing interest, thus, if attending, must use a ground floor room. This presents us with a problem, where ideally we can host the course in one location that all attendants can access, but failing this, the conference now needs to be held in 2 sessions. Before we can join 2 queries, we must first make 2 queries. See the course notes on 2 queries to set up. Call these 2 queries Conference Room with more than 15 seats and Locations Ground Floor. Set up the 2 queries as demonstrated in the course notes. This is how the first query should look like. The second query should look like this. Next, we will create a new query within which we will join the previous two queries together. Create a new query titled Room Capacity and Ground Floor Rooms. Open the query, and from the starting position, select everything. We then look to the menu to the right and click the blue query icon, and at the top of the list there is a joined query option. Select the join query option and a menu will display prompting us to select the queries we intend to join. Select the two queries to display this. Select OK. We can now see the different ways in which join queries can be utilised by clicking the drop-down menu next to OR. Although there is a range of ways to use this mood feature, the current task requires us to satisfy both constraints. So instead of OR, we select AND. Section 11C, Green Pins. Green pins are a useful way of showing secondary information related to the subject of the model. And to demonstrate this, we're going to use the Tutor Model Master. Navigate to Libraries, Model Masters, Tutor, and open it. At the top of the empty Model Master there is a test box. We are going to use Adrian Fletcher as our test element, so drag and drop it clicking Test afterwards. The first piece of information we are going to show in this view is the subject as Adrian Tutors. Add an info panel to the view and notice how Mood automatically recognises that we are looking to display information about the element being used in the Model Master test. This is useful because we want to select tutor subject under relationship targets. Flipping the panel back around, we will see that it displays Data Analytics. If we then want to develop this view further, but show information regarding the tutor subject rather than the tutors themselves, we can utilise green pins to make it easier. Add a second info panel to the view, but this time drag and drop the green pin onto the panel we've just made, noticing how the subject of the panel changes from Use Subject of the Model to Data Analytics, allowing us to select the information regarding the subject we would like to show. Select Next Course so that when looking at Adrian's profile, we can see both what he teaches and when he will be teaching the next course. Select OK. Section 11D, Exercises. Number 1. Create a joined query to show tutor that can work evenings or is contracted to, but not both. Number 2. Starting from a query 00.02 conference rooms with more than 10 seats, deduce out of those which would be suitable to hold a conferencing meeting full media capability. Number 3. Using the green pin, add an info panel to the Tutor showing the course length of the tutor subject. Please see the course notes for results of these exercises.